Welcome back to Session 2 of the JA Economics for Success curriculum. Today's activities, you will need the My Career Goal Pocket Guide, and we would encourage you as the volunteer to bring a couple pairs of scissors along with you as well to help aid in the making of those guides. You need the dice, the game chips, as well as the work and education cards. We would encourage you to create packets that are easily distributed when you're ready to play the game. You would want to tear apart one sheet of each of the color of the cards, as well as putting one game chip of each color and a die in a baggie so that you can easily distribute them during the activity. You'll also need the game boards, the score sheets, which can be torn in half so that you can have one for each of the students. And then we also have the bracelets, and this advertises a game that they can play on the JA website that's specifically focused to this activity. This activity is all focused on connecting personal finance, education, and careers. And so you'll notice the introductory talking points really guide a discussion regarding what the students might consider doing in their futures and how they might get there. It also challenges the students to think about how people choose the career that they choose. What are those incentives? Sometimes it might be monetary, but sometimes it might be non-monetary. So you'll want to walk through some of that discussion, and then you can use the My Career Goal chart, which is on the back side of the poster you used in the first activity, to give the students an example of some of the career steps that they can go in identifying a future career. The connector to that piece is the Career Goal Pocket Guide. What you'll notice is depending upon how much time you have in the class, it may take more time than you realize to complete this piece. So you might want to consider skipping this until the end, and that way if you run out of time, you can have the students take it home as a take-home piece, and that way you for sure have enough time for the game. If you do have time to complete it, what you'll want to do is have the students first of all tear off this side margin. Then their next task is to fold the guide on all of the dotted lines. What you might want to do is, most of the time students don't all have scissors in their class, and so you as the volunteer, and you can ask the classroom teacher to help you, when the students get all of the lines folded, you can have them fold the piece of paper the short way so that the dark line is right here in the center fold, and you are going to just simply make the cut on that black line. Then once all of the students have that much accomplished, you are going to have them make it so that the opening is on the top, and they're simply going to fold in. They're going to take the fold on the top, they're just going to simply pinch it in, and then they're going to fold it all together. And they might need to rearrange it, but that is how you get the pocket guide. And this corresponds with the steps that they can be thinking through the career goals. So if you have time, you can have the students complete those pieces. If you want to, fast forward and keep this for the end of the activity. That might work as well. That way you can ensure that there's enough time for the gameplay and then the debriefing of the game as well. This is a great little tool that they can take with them, whether they do it at home or if they do it at the end. But it's just a great guide that they can reference. They can slip it in a pocket of a backpack or keep it someplace that they can reference it in the future. Once you talk about some of the steps toward career goals, you want to transition into the actual playing of the game. There's a lot in this game, so the more the students get to play the game, the more they're going to get out of it. So here's an example of the game board, and what I would encourage you to do is to either hold it up or to post it on the board, just like I have done here, so that you can give the students the big picture of the game. What they're going to do is they are going to play on the floor or on the tops of some desks, and they are each going to get a different color of chip. You're going to place the work cards right here on the work section, and then you're going to place the career education cards on the red section. The way that this game board is set up is it's really designed to teach the students how education and careers intersect throughout life. So they're going to start here on the bottom at their high school graduation. You'll notice that they get an automatic 100 points because of their high school graduation. I always say it's kind of like you're at your graduation party and you get a $100 gift card. So on their score sheet, you're going to want to show them that if they're earning money, they're going to write it on the left-hand side. If they end up losing money, they're going to write it on the right-hand side. And at the end, they're going to tally their final score. You'll also point out that on the bottom are some pictures of housing as well as vehicles that at the end, it's just kind of a fun way to use their points. They can determine which house and or car they would choose. You'll also notice that on the very bottom, it does highlight some of the median weekly earnings for 4-year, 2-year, and high school degrees. This is something that you might want to point out toward the end when you're debriefing about the game. It's kind of just some extra information that the students might be interested in to consider how education connects to career goals. So the students are going to start down here. They can roll the die and they can choose if they want to go on the work path or if they want to choose to go on the education path. What they're going to do is they're going to roll the die and they're going to do whatever it says on that path. What I always encourage the students to say is that if they have to read the scenario out loud in order to get positive points. That way they don't just skip to how many points they earn or don't earn, and they actually hear the situation behind why they're earning or losing points. They're going to work their way up, and once they get to this next opportunity, they have the chance at their next turn to either continue on the path that they were on, or they can choose one of the opposite paths. So the students can just play through the game, and you'll notice that it says that they finish the game once they have gotten off of the path. So if they get there before their other group members, the other group members can continue to play and they can start telling their scores. So watching time, you want to make sure to give them as much time to play the game as possible, but you also want to reserve enough time for the students to be able to debrief about the game. It's always fun for the students to see how many points they got and how they compared with other people in their class. So you'll notice that on the bottom of page 22 in your guidebook, in the summary and the review, there are some great debriefing questions on how to get the students engaged in a conversation regarding what they learned throughout this game. I always like to pull up some of them that have really high points or really low points, and I ask, what happened? What were some of the things that happened that created you to lose points or to earn points? And that gives you the opportunity to get to visit about some of the situations that are really reality-based that could happen in their futures. The way to wrap up this activity is to talk a little bit about the JA Economics for Success game that's found online. We would encourage you to go to this before you go into the classroom so you have a little bit of an idea of how that game is played. If you have smartboard technology or an interactive whiteboard in your classroom, please feel free to pull it up and to show the students how they can play this game at home with their friends or with their family. It's just an extra piece that links them to technology, but it's an educational piece that they can enjoy as well. These are just a fun take-home piece that the students can enjoy as they go forward. If you didn't already, make sure to touch base just a tiny bit about the very bottom portion of their scorecard, which is the 4-year, 2-year, and high school degree. Help them understand that a lot of times the more schooling you have, the higher paying job that you get. And that's partially just because of the schooling and the technical pieces that go into it. But no matter what, you always want to make sure to emphasize that students need to create, to think about their career and what they hope to do and what's best for them. Success isn't necessarily a high school, 2-year, or 4-degree program. It's not that you're successful if you reach a master's degree. Success is what's best for you, and so you want to make sure to talk to the students a little bit about that. You want to do what's best for you and your career opportunities, and you also want to make sure to tell the students that there are means in which they can get financial support if they do desire to go to college but maybe don't have the financial means to get there. You can talk to them about scholarships and grants and other federal aid that might be available to them. It's always great to remind them that often their school counseling department have great resources for them to utilize. Enjoy session 2.